the VIX already it was up 11%, 15% at the open. Now it's down to 5%. Still green, but it has given back about half the move. So this is the process. The VIX doesn't go up and down like an index. So the way the VIX comes back up is that you crush it, and then every single time the VIX bounces, it crushes back over. And then finally, after about 2-3 weeks of doing that, it rockets. And that's why you have the VIX cycles. And then, of course, in that macro range, it does it on a bigger scale up to 17, 18, back down, 18, 19, back down, and then it'll go to 25, 30. And then once every year or once every 2 years, we'll have a move up to, 60. So that's the thing. How are you still feeling about TLT? Long it, baby. Buy and hold. Trust me, if I ever back off the TLT trade, I'll let you know. But right now it's buy and hold. Missed the weekly brief to yesterday. Would you consider that ES&Y a monthly hanging man? Yeah, I mean, that is a hanging man. But, a hanging man like that just shows you a tremendous amount of selling hitting the top. That's why a hanging man is considered a bearish position, even though there's a massive bottom wick. And it's the reason why there's a massive bottom wick is because the sellers were able to put on a tremendous amount of selling at the highs. So the hanging man for me requires more confidence, more confirmation. Like, I'm not going to sit there and start shorting simply because we have what could be considered a hanging man at the top. It could be a bottom wick to blast another 1,000 points. But yeah, that is a hanging man. We've had a tremendous amount of price action in the past month. So topic on NASDAQ here. So today we had ISM manufacturing, which came in as a miss again. So continued misses. And then, of course, tonight at 8 o'clock, Fed Chair Powell speaks. That's the last remaining data for today. Tomorrow is a little bit more, and Wednesday we have a ton of catalysts. So far, low volume type of day. Yeah, it seems like this, I don't know, people, the whole market in general has been a little bleh the past couple of days. Last night was an absolute phenomenal amount of price action. It's one of the rare times that on Sunday nights I was sitting here trading with the family, in the other room, because it was just a phenomenal amount of price action. So I had a blast last night. What's up, Jonathan? How you doing? 25,360 coming back up. In the book, Anna Coling talks about it, the first sign of selling pressure in the market. She says the insiders have been tested and the buyers are supported the market with this candle sending a signal that the market moved towards an oversold area on the monthly. The market's moving towards an over-purchased area. But yes, so that's the whole concept. Is I mean, that's why I'm not ego posting on Twitter to buy the dip, because there is such thing as VPA and there is such thing as a downside of the market after 9 months straight of buying. That we have hit a tremendous amount of selling for the first time in 8 months. And, I've been relentlessly bullish now for many, many months. And now I'm just taking a step back and just, all right, well, I'm just expressing some caution here that we could have a little bit of selling here, which is normal. Nothing, not a complete on reversal, but just a little profit taking, just a little selling. I don't call me a perma bear. Into this upside move after this many months. So, obviously, you need the confirmation. You did 3 C's on the daily, 3 C's on the weekly to get a lower low price. That's it. Show the market can put in a lower low, which right now we can't. We've been the same price now since September. But once we do put in a lower low, then we'll start to play the retracement, the retracement thesis out of distribution, because out of distribution you come retracement or the markdown. And after that, we'll look for the 3C bounce, and then that's all she wrote. 100%. You're welcome, AR. Is anyone talking? Yes. No one else is, though. I'm the only one talking. Interesting. Call and puts are pretty well flat at the moment. They've died off, about 130 million of puts and 300 million of calls. The top wick NASDAQ. So we had a high volume spike. We put in a low. Now we're rejecting that prior resistance, 68.36 on ES. NASDAQ is still chilling up here with the triple top off of the 50% move with a high volume top wick. So like I said, if we put in the third C, which is a lower low, I will consider a short position, but only if we get a lower low in. Until then, wait for the absorption. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There we go, a little bit more red. ES is top wick just a touch more. NVIDIA is this rocket ship green. That's what's upholding the NASDAQ there. And Amazon is about mid. Apple selling. Microsoft is selling. Meta is rocket ships. Google is mid. Tesla's rocket ship. Sorry for asking the question, but I realized I didn't switch to YouTube. How am I feeling about TLT? I'm still the same. So buy and hold. That's it. Remember, TLT, I don't care what happens in the intermediate short term. I care about the long term. So if it goes down a couple points, I don't care, whatever. I'm looking to buy the dip and hold and continue to hold until something structurally breaks in the bonds, which, the time to buy at the low, the time to buy is at the lows. The time to short is at the highs. Bonds have been in a historical bear market. If the bonds were now the S&P, everybody would be screaming from the rooftops to buy. But yet, because the bonds haven't bounced yet, nobody wants to buy. They're all terrified. Now, the bonds aren't a big mover. We're not talking about a destruction on the bonds. This is a very conservative play. It's a very low risk, low reward play. I'm not looking to make 100%. I'm looking to make 20 to 25% over the next 2 years. I'm not putting a ton of money into it. I'm putting some money into it, but I'm not putting my whole portfolio into it. It's just a hedge against my confidence in the market is dwindling. So that's what I'm looking for. 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 1 year. I don't know. If TLT rockets to 120 in the next 6 months, I close the trade completely. It doesn't matter. So it's just, I'm playing the thesis, and that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You want to know how I traded from 2011 until 2020? This is it. I buy high confidence names that I believe in, and I don't sell them. And that's how I got paid in 2020 and again in 2021. Is Discord broken? Negative. Can you explain what spot gamma means for their call and put walls? 100%. So the call and put walls are the major exposures on the short side of the options. So a call wall is going to be a tremendous amount of call exposure. That's going to be obviously above the current price, and you can look for a defense, an underlying defense of those levels when we come up to it. That pretty much notes an underlying change in the positioning of the options, where market makers may have to switch from defense into protection. Yeah, danger zones for big money, 100%, which, by the way, the iron condor is underwater today. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of defense here on this bounce. Another rejection on NASDAQ. We get a lower low. Guess what I'm doing? Bank bonds after it. Nice. Nice. How do you feel about GameStop after what Michael Burry posted? I bet y'all are happy. Nice sweeping top wick. Another red coming on down. Beautiful. Another high volume 3C top wick over and over and over again. Once they close that low, we'll play it down. Aren't within the legs of the iron condor? We are now. Yeah. We weren't this morning though. I'm just made he didn't wait until 15 billion so I could buy more. Yeah, 15.8. What's your lower low at 331? Yeah, 331 would be the technical. I would think more likely to get it started here with 351 and then after that 331. Yeah. Nvidia's response to Burry, we aren't Enron, is definitely not sitting well with investors. Yeah. Still coming off here. Nice sweeping triple rejection off of the 50% mark. All three rejections are with high volume. So what does that tell you? We have three rejections off of 25,380, all three with high volume on NASDAQ. It tells us that we have a bit of resistance here at 380. What's up, YouTube? What do y'all consider success in the market? There's a whole bunch of crap, obviously, we all know on the internet about big gains being posted, millions of dollars, $900,000. Thank God that God bless me with trading and stuff like that, even though God doesn't care about your money. He cares about what you do with that money. What do you consider success? What is your goal here with trading? Lambo, nice. Yeah. Hey, some people that is their thing. Some people they do want the Lambo. They want the status symbol. Y'all need to read that book, Power of Money. You read that book, Power of Money, you'll never want to buy another expensive thing ever again. My goal is more time with my wife and kids. Yep. I love it. Freedom, independence, generational wealth. I like it. Freedom. I think we're all on the same page. Freedom, more time with the family. Do you need millions of dollars a year to get that, though? For me, that would mean about $10K a month. $10K a month that's a healthy amount of money. Enough to be alone in your terms. So here's the truth, though. You have to set a realistic number. We all want 10K a month. We all want 100K a month. The stats show, though, that the vast majority of us are never going to be able to make millions and millions of dollars doing this, myself included. I'll never put on a $100 million trade. So you have to think realistic and then work your way up. You're not making $10,000 a month unless you've got a very healthy portfolio that you could take lower risk on, or you're just a freaking stud. Which so far I don't think anyone here is that kind of a stud, myself included. So you got to think realistic. If you could sit here and make, $100 a day consistently, average, and bring in a couple $1,000s a month, that's money. And then you do that consistently, you build a pad, you get confident, and then you work your way up to a little bit more and a little bit more, and then maybe one day you can make 10K a month. But it's all about building that pad and building your prowess as a trader. And forget about the other nonsense. Controlling the emotions and trading like a robot. Quit your full-time job, consistency. There you go. Trade like me? No, don't trade like me. I don't take enough risk. I hate that about me, but it's just part of it, man. Every time I take risk, I get wrecked. Another top wick. That's 4 top wicks at this area. NASDAQ needs to get under this 337. My goal has been to run my own life, keep my wife home, set aside money so I can provide something for my kid to fall back on. Nice. Help other people have money, spread God's word. 100% juice box. Couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself. $900 million calls sold. So they're selling the crap out of calls here. A little bit more red. A little bit more red. $1 billion calls sold. They're rolling back over. If NASDAQ catches up to ES, we're going all the way down to low of the day, baby. All the way down to low of the day. There we go. 68.25 dropping. 25.330. I'm at great money owning a plumbing company, but it's falling as family faster than I can work. Yeah. My brother-in-law's a plumber. I know that's a tough one. Goal is to build a strong nest egg and give my newborn every possible advantage. I love it, Phil. Not too bad I get to hang out with y'all to do it. Heck yeah, man. Community, man. Community's a big deal. Like-minded individuals. That's not egotistical and nonsense. $68.28. Rolling back over just a touch. As iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. Love it. Do you know what the max per day on the 150K TPT accounts are? Drawdown's 4,500 max per day. Yeah, it's 50%, so it's 4,500 as well. So you can't make more than 50% of the drawdown before you. Well, you can, but it's going to move your target if you do that. So you have to keep it under 4,500. Yeah. But remember, I mean, if it's a 5-day eval, don't even try to go for half the amount. You know, just take 4,500 divided by 5, and that's your daily target. At the very most, that's your target. And of course, that's if you want to pass in 5 days, which I know we all want to, but I would forget about trying to go for that. Just take it slow. I promise you, if you take those TPT accounts slow, I've tried to get quick payouts with TPT, and I've gotten lucky a couple of times, but it always goes poorly. So the best thing I can offer to you all, man, is just take it slow with TPT, grind it up, and then it's like it's the best thing in trading. TPT is literally the best tool in trading right now because you can just grind out daily profits. It's amazing. $100, $500, $10,000, doesn't matter. Whatever you make, it's yours at the end of the day. It's fantastic. If you treat TPT with respect, it'll treat you with a lot of money. Hey, more red. Surprise, surprise. 4-time rejection off the highs, 3C high volume top wicks, and down we go. There's a reason why patience is spelled Paythence. Blaster running with cheese on NASDAQ and ES. And that's all I need. That is all I need. Liquidity down to 6,800 on ES. NASDAQ has liquidity down 25,275. You're welcome, GG7. I'm glad I could help. Glad I could help. Need some consistency, Deacon. I feel you. 1.3 billion in calls sold. 300 million in puts purchased. So a very bearish options flow here. We had a beautiful 3C top wick on NASDAQ all the way down to 25,309. That was a 90-point sell-off on NASDAQ. ES dropped from 44 down to 21, so a 23-point sell-off. It's fantastic stuff. The VIX is back up to 6%. They rolled the VIX all the way off from 15% down to 4%, and it's back up to 6.5%. If this candle fails, the NASDAQ will test low of the day. If not, so be it. This right now, they're retesting the SR flip from the lower low, which is right here. Can y'all hear me? Because only a certain amount of people hear me. It's been phenomenally quiet today. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Everyone's still on. Usually y'all are bumping, but y'all are boring the crap out of me today. Sounds like I'm underwater. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, this is my good microphone. You know, it should hear me, but I don't know. We'll see. It's not picking up my normal mic, so I can't switch to it. What about now? Better? Is it better? Is that better? Is that better? Sweet. All right. Well, after last night's trade and that trade right there, I mean, I don't really need really much else, especially with this back and forth price action. Cyber Monday deals out there. $68.10 is by far the most amount of exposure, a phenomenal amount of exposure. About 600 million of options expiration sitting at 68.10 SPX on 0 DTE, which we just bounced right off of. That's going to be a tough one for the S&P to breach. Tough one. Right here. Picked up a TRP operator on sale. I don't know what that is. Just had to go up a few octaves. Yeah. All right, this is the SR flip right here. Springfield 1911, nice. Picked up a Ruger Max 9 recently with the fiber optic reflex. Nice. Still rejecting the SR flip. Can't reclaim the highs, so down to the lows of the day is where we're going to head. I was looking at your SR levels and thought I copied them over. Sitting here wondering why there wasn't SR level where SPY is at. Oh, that's all right, Fritz. Happens to the best of us. SPY is much more bearish. It is, yeah. It is. Right now, NVIDIA is keeping NASDAQ afloat. Everything else is getting dumped for now. CL as well. We had that nice little dip and rip there at the open. It's been slight little downtrend after the quadruple top in the 3C here on NASDAQ. But, it's a slower price action, man. It's a little boring. I wish we get a little bit more consistent. This is why I want volatility, man. Like, I loved the volatility because it just makes for such amazing opportunity for the entire session. Uh-oh. Looks like I'm about to become an affiliate of Tradeify. Daily payouts starting December 3rd. Anyone who does daily payouts, I'm a big fan of. Big fan of. Watch, it's going to become industry standard eventually. They're going to have to become industry standard. Prop firm daily pet or your canaries. What do you mean? I'm hoping someday OM starts his own prop firm. If I had the capital, I absolutely would do it. They're about to. No, I don't think they're too big of an industry to die. They're too big of an industry. They may change the way we know it as today, which I think will happen, but they won't die. Way too much revenue. We're talking billions in revenue, literally. Top Step is putting on $2 billion a year. Hey, look at NASDAQ. Down we go, baby. Down we go. The 3Cs win again. Surprise, surprise. Here comes lows of the day. I can't get too excited because this microphone will blow your eardrums out. It's way too sensitive. But hey, 288 on NASDAQ dying. 1.6 billion in calls sold. There we go, 272 and dropping, baby. $273 and falling. You're assuming prop firms are ran by smart money. No, I'm assuming they're getting dumb money. The people that reset 87,000 times. Locked out. Beautiful noob. Killing it, baby. If I'm short, what would classify as a proper time for an early exit? Is there a high volume bottom wick candle? Yeah, so I'm just like you use a 3C to get into a position. I use 3Cs to get out of positions. Trade like a robot, baby. So you set your parameter on what you think is a bullish bounce. What's the number one problem one of the many problems I see among the average trader, including myself, including you all. How can I hold a profitable trade longer? And there's no real good answer to that. So the best thing I can offer you is just trade on market structure, not offer P&L. Like this candle right here for a scalp. If you're a scalper, that's a very difficult candle to survive right there. I didn't survive this candle. It's a very difficult candle to survive. That's a 70-point candle already. So you have to determine on a downward trend, if you're short, what is a reversal candle and what is a sustainable candle that you can hold through a temporary move. that right there is a full-on, they almost engulf the entire red right there. So that candle should get you out. Even if it dumps back over, that should get you out of a short scalp. Now, if you're on the 30-minute chart, 60-minute chart, that may not get you out. So it depends on your time frame. It depends on your position sizing. It depends on what your theme of the trade is. What are you trying to accomplish with that trade? And only you can answer that question. I can't answer that question for you. So because the structure on the, like let's say the 60-minute is going to be different than on the 5-minute. 5-minute structure right here is still the SR flip from 25,336. On the 5-minute chart, if it takes that out, you should not be short at all. On the 60-minute, you're still good to go. You know, we have a little bit higher price here at 342, which they already broke. And then, of course, the longer time frames. What are the 3 C's? The 3 C's are called the three criteria. That is the mechanism on which I use to trade. 3 criteria stands for the first C is volume, the second C is wick, the third C is price action. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel, among others, by mind you. There you go. Take a look at that. The 3 C's are really fabulous. Oh, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Where's the Tradeify news? Daily payouts? I just saw it come across on Twitter. Do you think a prop firm makes more money off the profitable traders and funded or lives from resets? Resets. 100%. The low cost of entry for the possible payout structure will destroy the trader who is unable to manage their emotions. It turns it into a casino. Prop firms are an incredible tool for those who can control their emotions. If you can't control your emotions, that low cost entry fee is going to grab you because you're going to reset, thinking I just need one payout and I can pay for all these resets. But the payout never comes because you're just gambling. So that's the problem, is that if you need to control yourself and treat that prop firm account as gold until you start to pay yourself, and then it actually is gold. But they make more money from resets than they do anything else. There's only a very, very small percentage of people taking payouts. Very small. Did they sell a bunch of puts on that? They sold some. Yeah, so we went from 540 million of puts to 260. So they sold about 300 million worth of puts on that. Strategy just came out and said they may be forced to sell Bitcoin soon. Interesting. That is a 3C bottom wick on the 5-minute. That works nice. I just got into 3C reversal and worked out. Nice, Nafton. Killer, baby. May have to sell if things get worse. 650,000 Bitcoin. How many billion is that? I think it's 14% passing evals and less than 7% get payouts. Yeah, I saw a number smaller than that, but that I would believe it. Yeah. I saw from Top Step that 100,000 traders in 2024, 3,500 got payouts, 96 got live accounts. I wonder what the actual number is. That's interesting. I had 3 live accounts from Top Step in 2025 already. So that's interesting. The thing is, though, what blows my mind is that, yeah, I mean, I've blown up accounts just like everybody else, but it's not that difficult to get to a live account if you follow rules. It's not. It's not that difficult to keep a prop firm account open for 30 days if you just don't gamble. Now, yes, you're going to face drawdowns, but if you stop out and maintain proper position sizing, just like what I said in the podcast, you're not as bad a trader as you think you are. You're a way better trader than you think you are because this is pretty simple crap. You buy the low, you sell the highs. The question I have for you is, can you remove your ego? Can you maintain a risk-mitigated process? Stop losses and position sizing. If you could do those 3 things, remove your stupid ego, risk mitigate, proper position size, there's no reason you can't keep an account open for 30 days. Now, you're going to have problems, of course. Yes, I've blown up accounts on day 1 before. It's happened. But the overall theme is, can I get payouts? That's the question. Yes. I don't care if I blow up 5 accounts. If I'm taking payouts, that's all that matters. You can do it. I'm currently in a demo and active account. How do I just do paper trading? I want to mess around with that first. Prop accounts, I think Top Step still offers the ability to open up a paper trading account. I'm not positive. They used to do it. I don't know if they do it anymore. But if not, then no, there's no paper trading on prop firms. But yeah, paper trading is worthless, 100%. The only way paper trading will actually be worthwhile to mimic the feeling of losing money, you get your wife to put a dog shot collar on your huevos, and every time you take a loss, she presses the button. That's the only way to simulate losing money. Other than that, paper trading is worthless. Every blow up I've had is because I let go of my rules. Yeah, 100%. You know when you break your rules. When I follow my rules, I have excellent wins. Yep. The only positive to paper trading is making sure you understand. Yeah, so the technical side of a system that's what you use paper trading for. To get used to a new brokerage account, to learn how to use the buttons, 100%. That's the only real value to paper trading, is to figure out the system, not trading. So yeah, if you need to figure out how to work the brokerages, then go paper trade until you figure it out. But yeah. Does TPT have paper trade? No, they don't. I opened a 100K TPT test account to paper trade. There you go. Isn't the hero a little bit bullish? It's starting to bounce a little bit. So we had a tremendous amount of call selling, put buying. Now on that high volume 3C bounce, we have some calls buying back and put selling off. So it's starting to shift back towards more bullish. Those numbers amaze me. It makes me feel a little better with blowing. Yeah, 100%. You're going to blow accounts. But can you get more payouts than accounts that you blow? That's the question. Spent a lot of time playing blackjack, and every dealer I've had the conversation with is about gamblers. From what they observe daily, if daily players left after doubling their money, casinos would go broke. Majority of gamblers make that. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm halfway through an evaluation for a 150K account, but it has to renew this week. Would you take more risk this week? No. Take it little by little and get that thing funded. Because if you try to take on more risk, then you're just going to blow the account. The only reason prop firms allow you to trade anything more than 3 minis is because they want you to blow up. Every time that you put on more than 3 minis, you're telling yourself, all I'm doing is making Michael Patek rich or anybody else rich who owns these prop firms. Do you run your system in evals and try to speed through them? Not really, no. It depends on how things go. You know, if I'm on Top Step, I don't go, like if I'm trying to pass a Top Step eval, I'm not trying to pass it as fast as possible. I'll put on a trade just like I would, and if it turns into a big win, then I'll go from there, but I'm just trading. I've tried to do the speed runs on evals, and it just costs me more money than anything. So Just take the time to build your army of past evaluations, and you're fine. But don't be the degenerate. Don't make these prop firms rich, man. If you just reset, you're just making them rich. Take it slow. Prop firms can be a phenomenal resource, but you've got to treat it as such. So we're still holding the SR flip. I'm currently not invested. I'm not really wanting to take another position. I'm being completely honest with you. I'll pass an eval, go funded, then open a new eval and trade it in tandem with that funded. Yeah. I got my biggest payout last week since starting this journey. I got overconfident and blew it. Yeah, but you got a payout. So, but you've moved the needle. Now, forget about the emotions. Turn into a robot, pass another one, and get more payouts. Build your army. You're going to blow up accounts. Stop getting mad at yourself for doing it. But the only thing you can control is your system. I've had someone message me saying they've got 2 of the biggest payouts they've ever gotten in the past week. It's fantastic. I love hearing that stuff. Not a lot of streamers yourself could tell your views of the cold-blooded truth about fundeds. Well, that's why I'm here, man. I've been there, done that. I've used prop firms as gambling, and I've used prop firms as real money. And I'm telling you, it's much more fun to have real money prop firms than gambling. What's the point of taking a $1,000 payout if you're going to spend $2,000 on resets? Doesn't matter. Just open up my TPT account with Black Friday sales. Should I start trading with micros? Yes. How old am I? I am 39. 39 years old. I've had 9 payouts over the last 3 weeks. Amazing. Do you ever track your system's max historical drawdown? What do you mean? Like the biggest loss I've ever taken? TPT question. This is my demo account. Is there a limit on how much you can make in one day? Yes. So you have the $50,000 account. What's the payout on that? What is it? I think it's $3,000. I think the target is. So you can't make more than $1,500 in a day. You can, but you're going to have to make more. That's what I'm saying. So $1,500 is the max you can make in a day. But again, I'm getting that question a lot today so far from multiple people. Your goal should not be to pass that stupid thing as fast as possible. If you do that, you're going to reset a lot. Just trade the stupid thing, and when you pass it, you pass it. Be patient. Don't think about what you can accomplish now. Think about what you can accomplish by December of 2026. Next year. We're going green, baby. We're getting some put, sell, and call buying. Am I trading one-to-one risk reward? I am not. I don't calculate R&R when I'm in the trade. I put on a good setup, and I put on a target of where I think it'll go, and I take my hands off. If it hits it, it hits it. If it's not, or not. But I'm not going to reject a trade simply because it's not going to net me 200 points. If I see the setup at a location, I'll take it. Going green. Think not what your nation can do for you. Yep, something like that. New high of the day coming up on NASDAQ. I've never tried a prop firm. I've always played with my own money because I have a problem with someone telling me how much I can risk. No, I get you. 100%. I'm with you. prop firms are misleading. You're not actually trading 25K or 150K. You're trading with whatever max lower limit. Yeah, you're trading with the drawdown. You have to go slow. Trading 15 minis with a $4,500 drawdown is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. You need roughly $500,000 in cash in IBKR to trade 15 minis, roughly. And yet, props let you do it with $4,500. 25,400 NASDAQ, new high of the day after that beautiful high volume 3C bounce. You just passed it. Nice D, Trent. High five to the screen, baby. Well done. Tori needs 250K. Yeah, that's insane. I don't know what brokerage she's using for that kind of leverage, but that's insane. $25,450 will be the next target in the event that NASDAQ continues to go here. This is a phenomenal move. Tremendous amount of call buying, put selling. Tremendous amount of call buying, put selling. NASDAQ is just freaking flying, baby. Freaking flying. Look at that massive explosion of price action. Amazing. Amazing. 113 points. Nice mojo. It's going. The brokerage wants to take her house. She nearly blew up her trade station account holding a six-figure drawdown. That's insane. You too, noob noob. All right, so you see the options shifted. Tremendous amount of call buying, put selling. Tremendous amount. After that beautiful high volume 3C bounce, right there, 270. A lot of opportunity today. It started out a little slow, but a lot of opportunity today. Did you say that you would never trade more than 3 minis or 3 micros? When I'm trading on my prop accounts, very rarely do I go above 3. Back in September, I was going up to 5, and I made a tremendous amount of money. But I don't like to do that long term because I know when you start making a lot of money, the opposite side of the trades comes along with that too. You get wrecked. So I usually stick about 3. One to contract up to 3 is my normal position sizing on prop firms. Now on my brokerage account, I'll go up to 5. I'll go up to 5 minis on ES quite often. On NASDAQ, I'll never go above 3. It's just too much. It's too much weight in the pants for me on my personal account. I'll get it, Twizzy. I feel like I'm biased for him, like I'm hunting for a short, haven't jumped in the trade, but such a big move, you don't want to chase it. I mean, there's opportunity here like crazy, man. We've had plenty of short opportunities. We've had 2 short opportunities and 2 buy-up opportunities here. So there's opportunity all over the place. You just got to pick your poison. Play the 3Cs, watch the options flow, and just put on the risk. But right now, they just went to new highs, 420. They took out the 50% retracement and the big rejection at 375 on NASDAQ. NVIDIA is very, very strong. It's going to be difficult for NASDAQ to fall with NVIDIA doing that. But NVIDIA should have done that. NVIDIA just bounced off of their major support that we've been talking about, their 173 area. What's gold doing, by the way? Look at that rejection off that area. That's Signals channel, man. Love it. Freaking gold, baby. I just watched the movie Red 1. Every day, every decision, big or small, is an opportunity to be good. You know what? Something like that. I have a quote that Jocko talks about. That's very similar to that. He was doing an exercise that sucked in the SEAL team, and one of his guys they did something crappy. One of the tests they did was crappy, and they didn't like it, so they started to redo it. And it was a very rigorous, like 6-hour training that they had to do. And one of the guys complained and says, "Are we really doing this again?" And then the commander said, "What's the right thing to do? Is redoing it the right thing to do?" And that shut everybody up. So it doesn't matter what you want to do. It's about doing the right thing in your trading. So you can complain and moan about being, woe is me, that the market's against me, or you could just do the right thing. A little bit of green here coming up. NASDAQ, new high of the day, very aggressive call buying. They went from 1.6 billion of calls sold to 633. So they bought back 1 billion of calls. Coming up we go. Gym time, Jonathan, love it. So if I pass the evaluation, it goes to the Pro Trader account. Correct. How do they pay you money? They pay you as a contractor. So if you go to a pro account, you're still on the simulated order book, but they pay you based on your profits, and they pay you 1099 income. Then if they put you into a live account, then you are on the live order book. But you're still not making investment income. You're still on the 1099. He said that the preface was good. Oh yeah. Oh, you watched that 2G's box. It's good stuff. One of my mentors would say that when we didn't know what the right thing to do was, he would do the opposite of what we had done in the past. There you go. That's called growth, baby. All right, NASDAQ blasting, 25,416. ES doing the same thing. ES hasn't taken out high of the day yet. NASDAQ has. This is trading Discord or philosophy? Or philosophy, baby. What's the hero looking like? I mean, honestly, it's one and the same. If you can be in tune with this crap, you'll be a good trader. I always go back to that YouTube video Dan posted years ago of the hedge fund top 5 rules for being successful in trading, and not one of those were technical. All 5 of them were controlling your emotions, and that was a hedge fund. So what does that tell you? We can joke about it, but it's all emotional. Every bit of it. Every bit of this crap's emotional. Can you survive the times you're wrong, and can you maximize the times that you're right? All right, well, I'm not in a trade. I've taken my trades for the day, so we'll see how this goes. I may consider another one here, maybe in the afternoon, but what's up, Cal? So now they're back to selling off some of the calls here. They're just whipsawing back and forth. VIX is coming off 17. Most of the values comes from identifying personal weakness. I will help you all as much as I can, tell you all the lessons learned to kind of shorten the learning curve, but you have to do the emotional side. I'll tell you all the crap that I've learned, all the rules, all the nonsense, all the hardships, all the crying and bleeding, and the bad part about trading is that it'll destroy your life emotionally and financially if you can't get it. But if you can get it, it's life-changing. Battle scars, that's right, Swatchy. Just saw a prop ad saying 0.4% a day of your capital should be the goal. 100%, that's reasonable. 100%. What did I trade? I trade NASDAQ. Gold this morning, NASDAQ today. And NASDAQ last night, honestly, but that was yesterday. Have I read the book Best Loser Wins by Tom? I have, yes. You know what the funny thing about that book is? There's another book I read called The Biggest Loser by Tiger Woods. Well, Hank Haney wrote it, but it was about Tiger Woods. Same exact concept, except applied to golf. The one who wins the Masters tournament, all the major tournaments, are the ones who loses the best. If you can control your losses in golf, you win the tournament. If you can control your losses in trading, you win the tournament. It's all about how you frame the perspective. But if you're not implementing rules and you're just wild west, then you're not going to learn anything. You're not going to understand why you're lost, and it's going to cause more frustration. I still deal with it. I had my first kid, and emotions got out of whack. I had the surgery and almost got paralyzed. Emotions were on tilt, never-ending process control emotions. Yep. Everything in life, baby. Futures or options? I trade futures. Is the initial balance in your chart. Talking about like the opening balance? I took 2 solid trades on gold, but exited 50 shy, completing my eval. That's all right, Phil. You still had some good entries. Keep talking about trading with emotions, but why haven't we bought AI to trade for us and win? Because you still have to... you still have the system to do that with AI. Like, it would be great if TradingView can incorporate AI to build your own little targets. That'd be great. Good topics on 1 minute in absorption. Let me say, I've been hanging out on the 5 minute this morning. But yes, we did have a high volume spike right there at 25,407, and it's glued there, so that does show some sort of a resistance. And we'll see if that wants to take us down here. It's possible, but we still need to look for it. It's very important that we maintain. Oh my gosh. Okay. A little bit of red coming off again. So it's the same thing. Don't front run short positions. If they take out lower low, which is 394, then you could play for a retracement. Until then, you have to look at the long side of things until then, because if they absorb and go higher, then that's all she wrote. Can you trade options on TPT? No, you can't. Although I'm sure that'll become a thing one day on live maintain. There we go. A little more red coming off. Top wick back over. A lot more call selling, put buying. I'm ready to get back up paid. Yeah, buddy. So there you go, Nancy. Top wicks noted the higher highs. So look at that. This is where the 1 minute is very accurate on identifying volume inflow. I don't condone doing primary price action analysis in the 1 minute, but I certainly look for volume inflows. And look at that. We had a volume inflow right there. And that noted the top. We absorb. If you go over to the confirm on the 5 minute, which is here, we absorb, put in a lower low at 404, and then sweeping red candle. All you have to do is do nothing until you have a 3C. Oh, yeah. Do it, baby. Those red and green zones are the Fibonacci 50 pull, which I can delete. Now it's no longer relevant. Coming on down, baby. We can delete that. That's no longer useful. Another high volume sweep. There you go, baby. Literally said, I'm looking for a short position, don't want to chase. Went long on a pullback thinking I was silly for shorting such a big green move, and bang, pump for a loss. And knowing what I don't go with my gut. Well, follow the volume, man. The volume, the 3 C's, the first C is your most important C. Can you see? So follow the volume, and it'll kind of pinpoint what the market's trying to do. And you pick out the highest amount of volume. If the market is going up and you see a tremendous amount of selling, that tells you, boom, we've hit resistance. The market is telling you we've hit resistance. Now you just got to figure out what to do with the price action. So do not long a position after a high green trend with high volume spikes at the highs. You don't long a high when you're starting to hit volume. So it's just not a high confidence area. Even if it does go up a little bit more, it's not a high confidence thing that you can do repeatedly. And now we have this sweeping top wick from 422 down to 437, an 80-point sell-off. So regardless if you took the short or not, you definitely don't want to long up here with that kind of volume coming in. What's up, YouTube? Let's go, baby. Does all that make sense? I want y'all to ask questions. What you got? Crazy pattern on SPX. Don't use your gut. Yeah. Take your own feelings out. It'll chew you up. I love it, Kyle. I want to make a change in the Discord server. What's something that what's a feature y'all would want? I'm bored. Other than the obvious scalping callouts, because I'm not doing that. Going into the new year, what's one thing we could change different in the new year y'all would want? 3C callout channel. Love it. Trade reviews. Okay. Small account challenge. I hate small account challenges, dude. Hate it. $500. I don't like doing that though, because it's just, you have to take too much risk. I would like to set up stock setups on Max 7. Okay. I like that. I highly encourage you to trade stocks. Highly encourage you. You know, scalp stocks instead of options and futures until you just develop a track record. Face cam? I do want to do a face cam. Yeah. Yep. Honestly, the best Discord server out there. Thanks, Mojo. Well, you're part of that secret sauce, baby. Appreciate it. Hunting channel. Love it. We are starting our our homesteading YouTube channel here on the farm, so I'll be doing a lot of hunting videos there. Can you do trade recaps, entries, what you saw in exits? Yeah, definitely. I've seen Discord servers where you can plot market metrics using Discord commands. Interesting. Outdoor Boys OM version. Yeah. Add the homestead channel under the miscellaneous so we could support it. That'd be fun. All right, coming back off here. Look, there's no continuous volume spike here. It's a sustained sell. So this is a sustained selling action. This is different selling than what we saw this morning. These are not momentary high volume spikes. This is a sustained increasing sell pressure beginning at 11:05 Eastern and finishing it on until 10:10 to 11:10 Eastern. Doing well and making money is often boring. Well, I am cursed with the never good enough mindset. I always have to be. I'm like a shark. You always have to be moving, otherwise you'll drown. I think percentage-wise, even if you don't make a lot of money, taking 10% on a $500, if you use the same rules. Yes, 100% you're right. The issue is that with a $500 balance, you have to utilize the entire $500 on your account. And the problem is, if things go wrong, the account's gone. One trade. Are you talking about the large volume on the green candle? Yes, 100%. So that volume candle came in at 952, which noted the highs at 407. High volume into resistance shows that we hit resistance, and then boom, down we go. Which, by the way, they're back to 1.3 billion in calls, so they're selling the crap out of calls again. I think each week it'll be nice to identify individual names that are setting up on higher primes. Keep an eye on the maple leader. Okay. Taking notes here. I got my little handy dandy notebook. OnlyFans. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Feed pics only. He did a great job with Tesla when it was breaking 350 as well. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I try to avoid trading 15 minutes before Euro close. I've been wrecked too many times. I like that. What's your? I get that's interesting. That's a interesting observation. What's up, McGabagooley? How you doing, buddy? All right, still coming off here. Red candles, no outlier volume, no bottom wick, and of course down we go to 25,331. They're still selling a tremendous amount of calls here, 1.4 billion. Sweeping top wicks here, sustained high volume. Keep on the downside until you have a 3C long. Right now, no 3C long, so you remain short biased until you get a 3C long. It's easy peasy. I've learned a ton watching your YouTube channel over the past months. Nice, Rob. Appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate you being here and supporting the community. Do you look at Gamma, Vanna, and Charm exposures? I do not look at Charm, Gamma, or Vanna. Well, I don't look at Vanna and Charm. I don't. I don't use GEX the same way I used to. I want to look at the overall environment of stable or unstable. That is how I utilize Gamma. If we are in a deep negative Gamma territory, we are in an unstable market, which means volatility, which means larger ranges. If we're in a positive Gamma, we're going to be in a more constrained, supported market, which means buy the dip over and over again. So I don't look at GEX because they're hit or miss. Sometimes they're right on the money. Sometimes they're not even close, and I can't gain an edge from them. It's why I don't use trend lines, because they're really fun to look at, and sometimes they're to the penny accurate, but I can't get an edge from them. It's just, one of those things. What's a 3C long? 3C long stands for 3 criteria. First criteria is volume, second criteria is wick, third criteria is price action. So with this move down, I need to see high volume spike, a bottom wick, and a higher high to get me out of a short and into a long position, or just out of a short period. We're on a steady downtrend with sustained high volume. So we don't have any high volume spikes, we don't have any bottom wicks, and we don't have a higher high. So you remain short biased. You turn your brain into a robotic Johnny 5 analytical mechanism, not I'm scared, I'm terrified, let me do this because I'm a human. Trade like a robot, trade the volume. Did someone say trend line sale? Definitely, Craig. Definitely. Or the Reddit 3C commit to a bad trade. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hanging out, everyone. I'd have fantastic Thanksgiving, man. Fantastic. I did a little drinking this weekend, which I never do. Just a little bit. I had like 2 drinks. I always remind myself why I'm not a drinker when I drink. I had a rum chata. This may sound odd, but one of the biggest growth areas for me is learning and difference between market awareness and market signals. I like it. I like it. After a couple of years of using Vanna and Charm, they are useful but more nuanced. I like them more as areas of interest I'm looking to trade, but it doesn't raise price action volume. Nice. If I can get all those things lined up, they may tend to be the best trades and give good targets. I like it, yeah. And that's the key. That's exactly the key is what tools can you find to gain an edge after you've mastered volume and price action. That's the gold standard there. Oh, I'm telling everyone Thanksgiving what's really happening in the world. Pretty much. 1.4 billion of calls sold, 146 million inputs. Yummy rum chata is delicious. It was pretty good. Eggnog, ice cream, and Bailey's. Ooh. I love me some eggnog. Anyone see the strongman contest? Strongest man in the world. One of the competitions is stone lifting. Yeah, that is crazy stuff. Eggnog with rum. Coming up on the Euro close here in 10 minutes, we have a small uptick in volume at 10.15 if we go over to the 5. We have a doji, smaller bottom wick. So the higher high would be to close over 364.5 on NASDAQ. What was one of the earliest indicators you used that you thought was a golden egg when you started trading? The first thing I thought was a golden egg was I thought I was very clever and coy to use Seeking Alpha analyst reports. I thought I had the inside knowledge on biotech stocks. I was like, oh, this analyst just posted that this biotech is going to cure cancer and it's going to go 3,000% gain. Oh, I'm putting everything in that baby. And the problem was I was right twice. I got lucky twice and I made a crap ton of money twice. We all know how that went. Yeah, I thought I was a product. I was like calling my friends like, hey man, give me some money. Let me manage your money, baby. Like I'm big time. I'm big time. Are you still friends with them? Yeah, I am. Most of them, at least. Those strong matter genetic Vikings. That's why they mostly come from the same country. Yeah, can you imagine Hathor Bjornsson charging at you on a battlefield with like a 6-foot battle axe? Motley Fool articles, yeah. I used to buy, hold, sell recommendations on Google. Yeah, that was the whole process, man. That whole year was a very destructive period in my financial life. Like I went through a very dark time during that year. You know, like I guess some of you understand, but It was a very destructive time in my life because I'm not someone who deals with failure very often to that degree. Like, I've been very successful in my life. So that getting beat down like that, losing, $56 and change $1,000 in 48 hours was a tremendous loss. And it took me a long time to get over that. That's where I'm at now. Yeah. Ever seen the log throwing competitions in Scotland? I have seen that, yeah. All right. 7 minutes till Euro close. Any questions? Thoughts, comments, concerns? Was there any specific moments that you can pick out where there was a turning point in the emotional detachment from red days? I mean, the whole process that got me switched is because I had so much anxiety that I was desperate to make progress, but it was hard for me to see the future after losing that kind of money. Like, I was in a very dark place. And the only thing that allowed me to pull myself out of that hole was I told myself I'm either going to do this right or that's it for me. I'm done forever. I'll never touch anything other than just stock buying ever again. So I told myself, all right, forget everything. Forget about the 56 and change $1,000. Go for a little bit. Just put on a trade. Out of everything you've learned, just put on a trade, forget about everything else. And I did it. And I made a very small amount of money. And then I would lose some and win some. And then it got to the point where, instead of taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back, I was taking 1 step forward, 1 step back, and I was breaking even. And then I was like, holy crap, I had my first green month. After the gambling fiasco, I had my first green month. I was like, hey, I could do this. And then after that, it's like, how can I do this to the point where I can start scaling up? And that took me another 1.5 years of putting a little bit more money into the account of my own money and kind of building up from there. But that was the detachment. It was like, I can still take losses and not get destroyed. Right now, at the time, and a lot of you're in that period where you can't survive red days. You can't survive one single red loss, because that one single red loss will destroy you. It's because you're over positioning. So if you can get to the point where you can take red days and red losses and red trades and red weeks and red months and still survive and still be okay, then that's a major turning point in your system. Major turning point. And if you can grow to that point to understand that you can take a red quarter, red month, red week, red trade and still be okay, then you've gone somewhere in your trading. Red trades should not be destructive. And the only way to do that is through proper position sizing, through the process of grinding and risk mitigation. Every single time you over position size, 100% of the time, you are telling yourself you're taking on the risk of losing everything. Yes, you may hit a big win. You may double, triple, quadruple your account. But you're saying to yourself, I'm okay with losing everything. I'm okay with losing every dime that I've got, all the sleepless nights of being anxious, the crying, the punching holes in the wall. You're telling yourself that that's what you're accepting, all of that when you overposition your size. My wife has kept me going. Oh, yeah. She's been amazing. Having a strong spouse is worth its weight in silver, I guess now, not gold. Silver's new all-time highs. You're welcome, Natalie. Thanks for the questions. Good stuff. Appreciate the transparency as always. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm glad you're able to identify with this. When I started trading successfully, lost everything, was rough. I was doing right. Joined the server, kept destroying. Very dark for myself. Props occasionally bring out those feelings, like when I first blew my... Yeah. Myself there. Personal accounts done the right way. Yep. Slow and steady. position sizing is so underrated. Everyone thinks they're special and they start slinging one or two NASDAQs, but can you make enough to quit the job with micros? Yep, 100%. Well, I mean, I'm being transparent because I'm very proud of my journey. Like, I have no problem talking about the struggles because it's part of who I am. I think it's impossible to become a profitable trader without going through some sort of death by fire event, some sort of rise from the ashes phoenix event. It's too hard. I've always thought, me being, a devout Christian, well, I try to be at least. I've always had a thought that the market's run by demons. Like there's an evil presence behind this market because this market has the ability to pivot you exactly at the wrong times over and over and over again. If you don't know what you're doing, this market will pivot you on a dime. It'll reject the second you long. It'll bounce the second you short on repeat. And there's not it seems paranormal sometimes if you don't know what you're doing. So I've been there, done that. If you don't have a good grasp on everything, emotions, risk management, position sizing, system, technical analysis, you have got to understand that there's no way out. There is no hope for profitability if you don't have everything firing on all cylinders. And it's an incredibly destructive process. So you got to take hold, It's part of it. It's part of it. Facts, yeah, buddy. That's my story about trading futures. I was so good that I had a mental collapse due to family problems and can't go back mentally, always losing. Well, if that's the case, if you are going through a phase where you just can't get back, then take a break. Shut everything down for a week, a day. I've asked this question before. When's the last time you've gone a full trading session where the market was open, you were ready and available to trade, but you didn't? When's the last time you've gone a single session without doing that? Highly encourage you. If you're someone who you can't remember the last time you've not taken a trade when you are able and willing to trade with the market open, then do it. Make a point to not take a single trade. In fact, I'd take it a step further. FOMC day, CPI days, non-farm payroll days. Wait to one of those days and don't take a trade. Can you do it? Can you do it? You take a break from 4 p.m. I love it. Anyway, going green here. Back to buying calls. They're just back and forth on the options, man. I got you, Vampire. I'm about to sign off, and I'll take a look. I had at least 3 6-month quitting periods. Your content always helps me get back into it. There you go. Thanks, Get Cooking. I took a break back in June. Y'all remember that? I was done. I was burnt out. I was exhausted. And I took about a month of not really doing anything. And that was the best thing I could have done, man. Best thing I could have done. Yeah. I appreciate that. That was what I was hoping it was happening. With work, though, I've been trading 2 or 3, maybe 3 days a week. Trading less is more. It is. NASDAQ 400 levels like a magnet. It's right back to it, man. That 400 level. But you could see why this 400 level is the magnet, though. Look back on this chart right here, and you could see why it's the magnet. This is the SR flip for the market right here. Prior resistance, new support, new resistance again, now another resistance. So we extend away from it and we come back to it. That's the mean reversion of this market. Smack dab in the middle. It's good stuff. Good observation. I got scared and closed my position. I'm up about $400 my first TPT trade. Beautiful, Rob. Write down what you did right, what you did wrong, and learn from your mistake. And learn from your successes, too. I have learned after a small success and call it a day. Don't try to make the success huge. You'll end up with a loss 8 out of 10 times. Yep. There is no better feeling in trading. In the trading world, there's no better feeling for me of locking in my profit and knowing the market can't take my money no matter what. I shut it down. Like, it's every time I feel that little FOMO that I need more, that's what I tell myself. You remember a long time, what was it, 2 months ago, I traded again. I broke my rules. I didn't shut down at 10 o'clock on my top step, and I turned it into a red day, and I was up a considerable amount. So those are the things I write. Like, when I write that rule into my trading log, and my trade into that log, I highlight that thing. I almost cussed. I highlight it. Don't overtrade. I mean, you'll give it back, baby. You'll give it back. TLT womp womp. Do you ever say anything positive, Trader J? I feel like Trader J is like a black cloud. He's always got like the gotcha messages. Buy TLT, buy the dip, baby. Buy and hold. Long TLT. Am I bullish on Tesla? I was going into this event. Let's see. So the 400 level is already, as long as you're holding 400, sweeping bottom wicks was my area to go long on. Now, we breached a couple times. We held it bottom wicks. Then we, of course, once you get over that 400 area, off to the races from 400 up to 433. Do I look at dark pool levels? I do not. Not at all. I really struggle with maximize my wins with evals, and I'm much better with it when I'm funded. Mentally, I want to max out my evals and just pass and get funded. I think we all do. 100%. I'm 100% with you. I feel like I'm wasting time when I trade my evals. 100%. But I know that it's a process. It's just a tool to get me funded. So I get it. I get it. But you just got to think about what's your overall, what's the net goal there. Your net goal is to get funded and make money. So it's just a tool, stepping stone. So J-Power resigning may be bad for bonds. Yeah, maybe. But my theory is that, the time to buy is at the lows. We've been in a historically long bear market for the bonds. The bonds are going to go back up eventually. I just don't know when. That's why I'm not taking options. That's why I'm buying the shares. I'm still getting dividends on them. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not overly positioned into them. I'm just, eventually, they're going to go to 120. I don't care what happens between now and then. If they go down to 30, then yeah, we've got a serious problem, and I'll stop out. No big deal. But whatever. couldn't see a way to drag and drop stop loss on TPT within the first trade. On TradingView, I personally don't trade on TradingView, so I couldn't tell you. Is that what you're trading on now, TradingView? Yes, there is AR. Yep. In fact, I'll go ahead and post that link today too. We'll get that on the books. All right, I think that might be it for the day. If you set limit orders, you could take, you gotta take profit and stop loss. Yeah, and then drag around 100%. Well, I know you can do that on Trade-Evade. I know a lot of people said that their biggest critique of Trade-Evade nowadays is the fact that you can't drag the line like you can on Top Step. Once you have the limit on, you can drag it, of course, but you can't just grab the line and drag it, which is something. $25,450 if we take out the highs will be my target. Here's your trend line, Kennedy. A little self-promotion here while the market's slow. I published a Christmas album a couple years ago. It's that time of year again. Some home recordings I made. Yeah, I'd love to listen to it, Matt. Yeah, buddy. It's awesome stuff. Look at it, Matt. I love it. It's on Spotify. Oh, I'm definitely listening to that. Can't wait to listen to it, big guy. It's good stuff. Stayed up way too late and I overslept. Just joined the stream. Did I miss anything interesting? Oh, we've had a pretty good market, Chris. Little upside, little downside, but overall, you got time to put on your positions, baby. We had 400 lots just come out at 25,437. I just wish TPT got rid of the trailing drawdown on the pro account. I've blown several accounts with a 2K drawdown when I was nearly across a 3K. Yep, that is the only downside to TPT, and I've talked to them about that. But they said if they're going to offer daily payouts, they have to have something to protect their liquidity, which is the trailing drawdown. So, I mean, you have to position yourself and grind up past that into where it's not a problem. So, what they want to do is they want people trying to go for the quick daily payouts. But just like anything else, if you're patient, you'll be rewarded. Yeah, I want a heavy metal version of Carol of the Bells. What software do we use to trade on your screen? I use IBKR as my personal brokerage account. And then, of course, with TopStep, I use TopStep X, which once this account is gone, I'll never sign up for another. Well, if they put that rule into effect, I'll never sign up for another TopStep account. And then I use Quantower for TakeProfitTrader and Trade-Evade if I'm live on TakeProfitTrader. I could not write earlier. I feel like I'm more confident having myself putting together when the market's playing. I've been there for 2 months or so. I have not had massive profits, but also have massive losses. Nice. That's the big thing. You start to switch into no more big losses, into small losses and small wins, and then big wins, small losses. I love it. Oh, man, I haven't heard that one. I've heard the Trans-Siberian, but, yeah. I haven't heard the Metallica version. Which rule for Top Step were you talking about? It looks like they're going to put into place. If not, I don't know if it's questionable or not. They're going to put in a rule for maintaining a balance after payout. So, if let's say you make $50,000 in a week, you take a $5,000 payout, your balance is now $45,000. $5,000 less. In order to take a second payout, you have to maintain at least $45,000. So if you take a $10,000 loss, you cannot take a payout until you're back above $45,000, which is terrible. It essentially deletes your whole balance. It's terrible. I'm patient. I want to find 20 NASDAQ points per day, but now it's 20 MNQ points. Hey, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. William Shatner. Did I just get AI'd? What happened? All right, coming along here. 25,433, coming back up to the high of 450. There's a ton of liquidity at 450. That'll be my first target here. But I am going to call this a day. We are through the London Open. We have a nice little steady upward trajectory here on the markets. We've had plenty of opportunity to short and buy. Pretty clean action today. I'm pretty happy with today's action. A lot of high volume bounces, a lot of high volume rejections. The call buying has been back and forth. The put selling has been back and forth. And now the liquidity on Bookmap is kind of pulling us higher here. VIX opened the day at about plus 14%. It's now down to plus 3% as they continue to sell off the volatility. And that's typically how it happens. They cycle the VIX up and down until they plow it higher. So it's very difficult for VIX to go binary. And here we are back down to 1684 for a 3% gain. NVIDIA is very strong. Tesla has bounced off the 400 mark beautifully, defended that support. NVIDIA defended their last line of resistance there, or support, for an upside move. Oil's green. Gold rejected our target, so things a pretty good day. Pretty clean day. I'm happy with it. If you have any questions about anything, hit me up. Shoot me a DM. Post them in the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for another fantastic day. I'm out. See you.